Good morning. Y'all are here before I was. So I did something different. I created the live. So does that mean y'all were ever able to enter before me? Because y'all already had messages before I went live. I'm learning. So can someone tell me? I created the live yesterday. So I'm not sure how this works. I'm still learning myself. All right, let me get my stuff out. Good morning, everybody. Oh, shoot, I forgot my drink. I was. Will y'all hold your horses? Where'd that come from? You know, all these sayings. Will you hold your horses while I go get something to drink? Did my mom used to say that? Like, is that, and my mom was the only one that said that? Did your mom used to say, hold your horses? I don't know where that came from. Well, that's cool. I didn't know that, Retha. Okay, y'all gonna have to hang on because I'm about out of coffee and I can't do this without drinking. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I'm back. Let me put my coffee drink over there. Yeah, it feels nice here this morning too. It's supposed to be cooler this morning here in Alabama than it was yesterday morning, which is good because I have been so concerned about my rabbits. Oh my gosh, it is like my rabbits are wool and they can overheat because you imagine having a wool coat on during all this heat. So I have, if I bring them in the house, my dogs go ballistic. Like my dog, the one time when I first got Fluffy May, I wanted her to be able to hop around my house, and my dogs bit her twice and she had to have surgery. So like I can't bring the rabbits in here because they'll get hurt. And so I have been so concerned, and like if I have to leave the house, I have to shut the garage and it makes it even hotter in there. So I'm stressing out the whole time. Like when I went to the doctor the other day, I was stressing out trying to hurry up and get home to open the garage so that the rabbit, it's awful. I will be so glad to get my education center up and running and have air conditioning. Like I'm like, Shane, hurry up. Get your stuff together and hurry up. So I've just been stressed out over that. Okay, let me see what y'all are saying. The ENT. Okay, so I went to the ENT and it is 100% an allergy. I'm allergic to something. We just don't know what yet. And so they did this test where I don't know what the test was. They stick this thing in your ear to see if your tubes are, like you swallow a drink to see if your tubes are draining or whatever. And mine are not consistently draining. So it's like they're clogged up. Not the, oh God, I'm fixed to get tubes in my ear at 52 years old. But they're going to try me on Singulair. So I'm taking Singulair, is that how you say it? Every day. And then, which is a prescription. I'm like, oh, great. We've got another prescription to my little box of medicine. And then I'm also on a steroid again. I hate steroids. Okay, I'm just going to tell you this. When you're someone that fights depression, steroids are not your friend. Okay, they're not my friend. It makes me terrible. Like, I have, like, it's just terrible. I don't sleep well when I'm on steroids. I bloat like you cannot even imagine. I turn red. My face turns red. And like, I just don't feel good. And I feel like I feel sad about everything when nothing is going on. And my husband gets hungry too. It doesn't, I don't know, maybe I'm hungry all the time. So I don't really notice a difference. But this is my second round of steroids in less than a month because I had that respiratory infection and they put me on steroids and gave me a steroid shot. So I really didn't want to take them, but I was going to do what the doctor said, which is rare for me to do what the doctor says because I know it all. And so I was like, okay, I've got to get better. So I've been taking steroids and I will tell you, y'all, I feel better. I can hear and I don't feel like I'm spacey and all that stuff. So I do feel better. So maybe this is going to work and I won't have to have tubes in my ears. Hopefully. Okay. I'm trying to make baby steps. I'm trying. Okay. I don't know if this is any better for me, but this is sugar. This is Crystal Light. It tastes good. I mean, it does taste good, but I just I'm trying trying to cut back. Okay. I'm trying to make healthier choices. I just I don't I have been beating myself up over my weight. And y'all know this is not good for me, right? Like, this can send me into left field and do things that I should not be doing. So I have to, like, when I start feeling like this, I have to stop myself in the middle of my tracks and go, Judy, this is not good. So I have to bring myself back to reality and go, okay, what do you need to do to take care of yourself? Do y'all ever do this? Like, you find yourself getting stuck on something that's not healthy for you, and you have to go, wait a minute, Kayla, come back. Come back to reality. What is your problem? What is your deal? And why are you concentrating on this negative crap? And so I have been, it's kind of weird because this is what I do with the whole weight issue. Y'all know that I have fought an eating disorder in the past. And it's like, oh, this is how I go. I'm going to talk to myself for just a minute. Oh my God, I'm such a fat butt. These overalls feel like tight. I feel terrible. I'm so, I'm just like, I need to just stop eating because I feel awful. I'm bloated. I feel terrible. I'm just depressed and fat and ugly and all that. And then I wake up in the morning and you know how you don't have food in your stomach and you feel kind of thin in the morning and you feel like the bloat kind of goes away and then you're like, okay, well, maybe that was just a bad day yesterday. And then you find yourself eating like the wrong things. Like, I made chocolate chip cookies yesterday. And so then you find it's like a roller coaster with me. It's like 1 minute I feel gross and fat and ugly. And then the next minute I'm like, oh, well, I think I was just having a bad day yesterday. And it's just like like my brain just goes like this. It like doesn't stay consistent and it makes you feel out of control. It makes you feel like I am absolutely insane. Like I am insane. Like, my brain is all over the map. And so when I do that is when I I have to reassess myself to go, what is going on? And I think it's because of I haven't felt good. I've been sick for the past couple of weeks. I haven't felt good. Uh, Here on the farm has been really slow as far as my tours and stuff because I changed my schedule to allow myself more time. And then I'm thinking, oh, I don't think this is good for me. Like, I don't think this is a good, good thing for me because when I sit still, I get myself in trouble. It's like, I'm not good at sitting still. People are like, oh, Judy, you need to take care of yourself because you go 90 to nothing. Y'all, I'm telling you, when I sit still, I get myself in trouble because I start worrying about stupid stuff and I start getting in other people's business. And today I want to talk to you about getting in other people's business because I have debated how to talk to y'all about this because like sometimes like when you're telling a story, you try not to use names, especially when it's family members, because when you use family members' names and you talk about that family member, and you're doing it on social media, and there's just I don't know how many people are on here, just say 100 people are on here, and then I'm throwing out names and talking about my family members, it can make them uncomfortable and it can make it's not nice to tell other people's business. I should only tell my business. But then it's hard for me to tell the story without saying names. So I feel like I'm on the struggle bus, but I want to talk about what I'm going through. And I'm going to try to just say family member or friend, okay? All right. So I'm fixing to really lay it on the line here today. And we are going to talk about addiction today because and I don't know, first of all, let me back up for just a minute. Not my live with Andale, but my live before Andale. I forgot what I was talking about, but I don't usually go back and watch my lives, but sometimes I do just to make sure my sound is okay and my picture's okay. So I watched the live back, and I must have picked up the same strand of hair to curl it like 16 times. I was so into the conversation, and I found myself going, "Pick up the hair and curl it, Judy." Like I was so in the conversation. I would be talking to you, and then I would do this, and then I would pick up the curling iron, and then I'd start talking, and then I would drop it down, and then I'd start talking, and then I'd do it again. Did y'all notice that? And I'd do it again, and I'd pick it up, and then I'd start talking. And it was like it took me like 10 times to curl one piece of hair because I was so into the conversation. I was like, whew, I was a train wreck that day. Okay. Today addiction is something that is, and I don't know if I can get ready and talk at the same time. I'm gonna try. I don't think I'm gonna curl my hair first. Addiction comes a long line of addiction in my family. It comes from my what do you call it? Heritage is German. That's where my family comes from, is Germany, and Germans are known for drinking beer, and addiction comes with that. So I have a long line of addiction in my family. It comes from way past, like grandparents, great grandparents. Like it's just, and then that's on my dad's side, and then my mom's side has addiction in her family. And I do believe that addiction is genetic. I believe that it's kind of passed down. I do not believe it comes from how I put this. People like want to go, it's a choice, it's a choice, it's a choice, blah blah blah. And I'm just going to tell you how I feel about it. I don't believe anybody chooses that life. That's just me. Like, I don't think anybody chooses that life. I mean, I do believe it's like, and it usually, most addiction starts at a young age. Um, maybe like in high school, you start experiencing drinking. You know how we all did, right? All of us did it. We drank for the first time probably in high school or our early 20s, and you kind of went on the wild side a little bit, and maybe you smoked marijuana for the first time or something like that. And then that was a choice that, and you try to, as a parent, or you tell your, how you tell your kids, just say no to drugs. Like, that was huge. And I believe that addiction sometimes creeps up early in age because it is a choice where someone decides to drink or someone decides to experiment in drugs, and then they're hooked immediately. And I don't believe that they chose the life of addiction, because I do not believe that anyone would want to have that lifestyle. Just as if, the whole thing with, like me with my eating disorder, do you think that I would really choose the life of starving myself only to go on dialysis and have like 15 seizures, my legs turn totally black? Like, would I choose that lifestyle? No, it chose me because my brain's warped in my head with an eating disorder. So I do not believe that addiction is necessarily a choice. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. I've just watched it in several friends, family members, and I do not believe that, there's all different types of addiction. Addiction affects people totally different. Like, there's the functioning addict, where this addict can be addicted to these serious drugs that are mind alternating, but can work every day. They can get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to work every day and not miss a beat. And then you have the addicts that don't have the tolerance that that person has, and they're like laid out in the street, like just drugged out of their mind. And then you have the addict that is hyperactive, that was like that, will do anything to get their next fix, and they'll go out and steal, and they'll go out and murder, and like there's different addicts. Look different. There's some addicts that you can look at and you don't even realize. You would go, they have a problem? Are you serious? Like, they don't look like it. They own a business. They seem like they got their crap straight. Like, there's all different. Addiction looks different in different people. And so today I want to talk about being the non-addict, because I'm not an addict. I've never had addiction to drugs. Although I've had the addiction to wanting to be skinny and not wanting to be fat, and that was an addiction problem for me, because I would find myself doing very risky things to get myself skinny. That no one I lived in the closet, because because when you think of eating disorder, you think of anorexia. So you think of this really skinny person that, you just see their bones and they weigh like 70 pounds. That when you see eating disorder, that's what you think of. When you see someone that's totally huge, obese, you think, they're addicted to food, because you can physically see that person is really obese, or they're really skinny. So those people, you can see they have some type of dysfunction and they have some type of eating disorder. With me, I was a aerobic instructor. I wasn't huge. I wasn't too skinny. I looked normal. So for the people that saw me, you didn't notice I had an eating disorder. But what would happen with me is I would fluctuate. And fluctuate was I would get up to like 160 pounds, and then I'd go into total panic mode because I had gotten fat. And then I would go into starvation mode, and then I'd get down to 120 pounds. And people were like, "Oh, Judy, you look so good. You've lost so much weight." And then it just boosts my ego because I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I have." And they have no idea how I got to 120 pounds. And it was because I was eating one cracker a day for weeks, making myself sick. And so my eating disorder wasn't announced. I lived in the closet with my eating disorder. Now the people, my family that lived with me, obviously could pick up on it, but they would just think mom's on a diet, or my wife's on a diet. Here she goes again. We're going on a diet. We're going to lose weight. And so they didn't realize how serious the addiction was. And the addiction was, because you couldn't see my addiction, a lot of my triggers and what I was doing is in the closet. Because what would happen was, and I can't really talk about it because it's things that I would do is almost embarrassing. And that's why I want to be careful about what I say in addiction, because some of the addiction is with friends and family that I know. And so I don't want to bring that embarrassment to them, because I don't want to like talk about the things that I did to get myself skinny, because there was a lot of toxic things that I did that hurt my family, because I was so desperate to get skinny that I would go to the ends of the earth to put myself in bad situations to get myself skinny. It was terrible. So today I want to talk about addiction and how it affects family members or friends who don't have addiction. Because what happens is sometimes we find ourselves caught up in it. And how do we get ourselves out of it and so forth? And again, I may have a hard time putting on my makeup this morning, but I'm going to try. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to tell you this situation because I want to tell you what I do. So I have this, I'm just going to say friend that I have known my whole entire life, that I've been close to. And this particular person has been on drugs since they were probably 12, 11, 10 years old. It's never been, it was one of those issues where you couldn't see it, just like you couldn't see my eating disorder. So you didn't think there was anything wrong with me. This person really started experimenting with drugs at a young age. And the mother realized, it was starting to become a problem. So she moved this person completely away from the atmosphere to get them, because, it's it's the friends you hang out with, that kind of thing. So we're going to move to another location. Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now, because I have counseled a couple of people, family members of addiction, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Moving someone out of a state or away from their friends without fixing the problem, guess what is going to happen? It's going to follow you. It's going to follow. Like if you would have taken me and said, okay, Judy is being influenced by these aerobic instructors and she needs to get out of the gym because she has an eating disorder. She needs to get out of the gym, move her to Kentucky, okay? And let her start her life over. She needs to get out of the gym, okay? That is not going to fix the problem. My addiction would have fallen me to Kentucky, because I didn't fix the problem. All I'm going to do is go take that addiction with me because I didn't fix the problem. It's the same thing with you. If you think, oh, well, I'm going to start all over. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to get out of this bad influence. I'm going to move to Kentucky and I'm going to take myself completely because my friends are a bad influence or my kids' friends are bad influences. And I'm going to take them and put them in another school. No, it's going to follow them. It's going to follow them because it's a problem within them. So anyway, so this person was on drugs from a young age, and then it followed them through their 20s and then their 30s, and you couldn't really see it. It kind of come and go. Sometimes you would see it, and sometimes you wouldn't. But the problem was never addressed, and now that person is in their 40s. Okay, and their choice of, let me just say this. I'm trying to talk about it without talking about it. It's hard. So what happened was this person ended up going to a methadone clinic. They were addicted to prescription drug pills, and they would go to a methadone clinic to, get their drug. But what ended up happening is that was just added to their addiction list because they did the methadone clinic that they went to wasn't really a by the book methadone clinic, so they weren't drug testing. Well, what happened was the doctor at the methadone clinic retired. So instead of this person going to a methadone clinic somewhere else, they went to street drugs. And so what's happened is their drug of choice is meth. Okay. I don't know if you've ever dealt with anybody on meth. It is a terrible situation. So within, I'm going to tell you the whole thing because I'm not telling you the person's name. So it started with going to street drugs. Then it escalated to, they thought they had bugs in their body. Okay. And they were so convinced that they were being attacked by bugs that they moved their whole entire family out of the house because they were convinced that they were getting attacked by bugs, shut down their business because bugs were all in them. This particular person went to the extreme of setting their body on fire because they believed that the bugs were coming out of their body. Okay. That's how bad it is. Okay. And to this day, they still think there's bugs, but then it started escalating into more paranoia. And the paranoia is stuff that you probably see on TV that, like, you think, like, I don't know people like this. Like, paranoia as in the lifesaver helicopter that flies up in the air. They're convinced that this helicopter is after them because the hospital is close to their house. So the helicopter drives a lot when they do the lifesaver. So this person that's on meth is convinced that the helicopter is after them. So they begin to chase the helicopter into the hospital because you see how the paranoia, so this meth has taken over this person's head, and it's been happening for the past 5 years. And so what's happened is my relationship with this person, because the paranoia came on me, they're paranoid. Snead's Farmhouse was started in a conspiracy to get them. Okay, how silly is that? Okay, so it, like, things, but to them, how I my fears, y'all know what my fears are. Those are real feelings. This person believes every bit. You can't convince them that, like, you can say, I really think you should get off drugs. You're paranoid. Like, this is You can't convince this person. This person believes every bit of this is true, and they're like living in fear every single day because they think their family's after them and their friends are after them and the state of Alabama's after them and the churches are after them and everybody's after them. So can you imagine living this life and you think your family's after you and your kids are after you and your wife's after you and everybody's stealing from you because this drug has convinced this person that all these things are happening. And I'm over here and I've been close to this person my entire life. Okay. So, me sitting on the sidelines watching this horror movie is detrimental to me. So, it's like, how am I handling it? How am I handling it? And maybe you can't relate to the extreme of, the paranoia. Maybe you're dealing with addiction with a family member or a friend that maybe is not at that level, because the level that I'm at right now is a level that's even hard to explain because the story is so crazy. um it's awful. So maybe that you're dealing with addiction and you're like, I don't know what to do with my kids, or I don't know what to do with my mother, or whatever, whoever your best friend. There's nothing you can do. And that's what the hardest thing is when your friend, family member, someone has addiction and you can't fix it. It is an awful it's an awful place to be in, because basically what's happening right now is I'm grieving, and have been for the past, this is not something that's new. This has been going on for the past 6 years. And I'm grieving the loss of someone that's still alive, but their brain is dead. Like I have questions myself that I'm like, if they were to quit, would they go back to normal, or have they fried their brain so much that like he's never coming back? And I'm grieving the loss of a person that's still alive. And maybe like you've been through that in a divorce, like maybe your husband has left you and you're grieving the loss of your spouse, and they're still alive, but they're not the same person that you're married. So like you look at that person and they're physical, like that is their body, that is them, same voice, but it's not the same person you're married. And you're having to grieve the loss of someone that's still alive. And that is difficult. It is difficult, like, to grieve someone that's still alive and you're facing them every single day. I haven't physically seen this person in 5 or 6 years. And it is difficult. And let's see, let me put my powder on. And how am I handling it? For the most part, I do pretty well to take care of myself, because when you're caught up in a divorce or addiction or whatever you're grieving, like you have to put yourself first. You have to take care of you, because things like this you can't fix. Like, I don't care. Maybe if I say this, maybe if I say this, they'll get, like, it'll click in their brain to go, oh, okay, you can't fix it. Like, once you convince, let's just say, like, talking about divorce, once your spouse has decided they're leaving you, is there no turning back, and you have to just accept it? And you're like, I can't accept this. Like, this is not, when I went to the altar, it was for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, sickness and health. Like, I made the vow and the commitment to be with you the rest of my life. And all of a sudden I don't know, cheated on me and you're gone and I have to grieve this. Me and the kids are left behind and you're over here with this, man and whatever. When you grieve the loss of someone that's still alive, it is a very hard pain and it's very hard to get over. And how do you keep yourself okay? How do you keep yourself okay? How do you keep yourself when you drop your kids off every other weekend to see your spouse and they're just beaming and you're like, I'm over here on the struggle bus and you just happy? Like, how do you keep yourself okay? How do you take care of you? And how do you when your loved one is caught up in addiction, how do you take care of you? Because you're going to hit rock bottom if you do not take care of you. And this week, I don't know why, like every now and then, I find myself reaching out to this person in hopes that that person's on the other end of the phone. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like I set up these expectations, like, okay, I'm going to text them and they're going to text back and it's going to be a normal conversation and I'm going to have them back again. You know what I mean? Like you set yourself. It's kind of like if you're divorced and you're like you call your ex-husband or ex-wife and you're like, "Hey, I need to talk to you. Can we have a conversation?" Like you're setting yourself up for total failure because you think whatever you say to them is going to get through to them and it's going to save your family. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. Have you ever been there? You think, okay, if I just sit down and have a conversation with them, I can get through to them and then everything will be okay. Because when things are out of your control, like you didn't cause it, like the other person left you or the other person's in addiction and you can't fix it, you feel like you are batshit crazy. Excuse me for saying a bad word, but you feel like I can't control this and it will, you're thinking, well, if I do this, well, you're trying to gain your spouse back. Well, if I just lose weight, okay, well, maybe if I just show them more attention, maybe if I cut more, maybe if I go get my hair fixed, or maybe if I go learn how to maybe if I dress different, maybe they'll be attracted to me. And you set yourself up for failure when you start doing that crap, right? Because you think it has to do with something that you have done, and it has nothing to do with you. It's them, okay? And then you try to find every single way to fix the problem, and that is called premeditated expectations. Because you're expecting, like, if I do this, then this will happen. And when that doesn't happen, you're let down once again. Don't do that to yourself. Don't be kind to yourself. Do not have expectations. Just like I talk about the holidays are coming up, and I said, how are you going to take care of yourself? If you have these expectations that your family is going to do X, Y, and Z, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for a terrible Christmas morning. Okay. If you choose to set yourself up for happiness from someone else, like a human being, you're setting yourself up for a very unhappy day. Your happiness does not come from your kids, your spouse, your loved ones. Your happiness comes from within and your relationship with God or your higher power, whoever you serve. Okay, that's where your happiness comes from. You can't pull your happiness from a human being. They will let you down every single time because you have these expectations of what you want this holiday to look like. Or you have this expectation, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to talk to them and I'm going to get through to them and then everything's going to be happy and we're going to be back together and everything is just great and wonderful and the kids are happy and we're going to live happily ever after with a white picket fence around our house. You're setting yourself up for failure. Especially with addiction. If you think everything that you say or do is going to help the situation, you're setting yourself up for failure and you're going to be let down. So today, I mean this week, I did that. I did exactly what I said don't do. So I had someone, this person owns property here, um, and someone was wanting to rent their property, and so they reached out to me and they said, "Hey, can you get in touch with blah 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 because I would like to rent their house that's no one's living in." So I sent this person that I haven't seen or talked to in about 5 or 6 years. Here I go. Here I go with, okay, I'll reach out and they're going to be normal. Okay. They're going to be normal because, I don't bug them. I don't try to be their friend or anything like that. So I don't know why I'm putting my lipstick on next, but hang on just a second. So I set myself up for failure and I sent them a text message. And for the most part, I do very well handling this. I do very well at taking care of myself because I just have to. I've gone through the grieving steps of the loss of the person that's alive. And the grieving process looks just like a death process. Like at first you're upset, then anger pops in. And then eventually you let it go. It feels just like it's like the divorce thing, like you're hurt, you're crying, you're begging them back, then you're pissed off and you're like, you cheated on me and you did this and you left me and the kids and you're a loser, and you go through that, and then eventually your grieving goes to acceptance. Okay, it's the same thing. So I have pretty much have done a very good job of taking care of myself. But when this person reached out to me about renting his house, it triggered me. It triggered me to want to talk to this person. So here I go, setting myself up for expectations, right? I'm going to send him a text and he's going to text me back and we're going to have a normal conversation, right? So that's what I did. So I sent him a text message and I was like, "Hey, really miss you. I hope you're doing well. Hope your family's doing well. I received a phone call from someone wanting to rent your property. I know you're not here to actually do it. Would you like me to help you with that? Do you want to rent your house out? I don't know if you need extra income, but I'll be glad to help you with the process of renting your property." Dead silence. So what happened? I got hurt. I was like, God, I'm gonna cry talking about my life. God, just freaking text me back. Just let me know you're alive. Like, just, something. And it was just like, bam. It was like someone stabbed me. And I was like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Why did I set myself up for these expectations that this person's going to be normal and have a normal conversation with me? I know better than that. And so it's like and I don't mean to, I'm talking about divorce with some of y'all or, addiction, but you're like, okay, all right, it's been a year and we've hated each other. Okay, I'm going to make this right. I'm going to send them a text message and tell them I'm sorry for everything that I've done, for all the mean stuff I've said to them over this divorce stuff, because I need to be friends with them for the children. You're like, okay, I'm going to send them a message. It's going to be fine. I'm going to send them a message and just tell them that I'm sorry because I've been ugly in things that I've said. So then you set yourself up and you send them a message and you're like, I'm sorry for everything that I've said to you over the past year. Like, I want to do this for the kids. And then there's dead silence and they don't text you back. And then you're like, that piece of crap. And you're mad all over again. You're mad all over again because you set these expectations that you and that person were going to like work it out and be good for the kids. And you set yourself up for nothing but failure. That's what I did this week. Okay, I didn't do that once. Oh, we had to do it twice. So I texted the first time about the house. A couple of days went by and I was so just hurt. I was like, yeah, this so this sucks, like I just like why do you hate I'm not in a conspiracy to get you. Snead's Farmhouse has nothing to do with anything of you. Snead's Farmhouse, and I'm trying to make reality out of something that this person doesn't have reality in, right? I'm like trying to convince them, I promise you, I did not start Snead's Farmhouse in a conspiracy to get you. I'm setting myself up for failure because I know my brain is here, right? Just like your brain is here, and you're like, okay, I want to make this right with my ex-husband because we need to be friends for the kids, because I've heard this is a nightmare for my kids and I don't want to do this. And you try to make it right and you just set yourself up for failure. If you could get along with this person, you would be married to this person, okay? So then after I let a couple of days go by, I cried, had my feelings hurt. I was like, God, why? This person thinks that I went into their business and stole stuff and sold it to Walmart here in Coleman. That's what they think. Can you see me going into a business, stealing stuff, and then going to am I so good at sales that the Walmart in Coleman would buy from me? And I'm Snead's Farmhouse. You know what I mean? Like nothing makes sense. Okay. So a couple of days went by. I got my feelings hurt, right? I'm like, okay, my feelings are hurt, I'll try again. So my next message went a little something like this. It was like, are you going to die hating me? Like, am I going to have to like live with the fact that you're dead and you hated me for the last 5 years for something I didn't even do? Like, are you really going to do that to me? How stupid was that? Okay, I said that at first. And then I said, what did I say? Something else stupid. I'm setting myself up. Like, don't you get it? I am your relative, and like I would never hurt you. Like, I would never steal from you. Like, that's not my nature. You know me. We've been together our whole lives. Like, we grew up together. Like, I would never do that to you. So I'm trying to make sense out of someone that makes no sense. So I sent the second message, set myself up for failure again. Have y'all done that? Dead silence. So then I grieved all over again. I hurt all over again. Like it was almost as if I sent those two messages expecting the normal person to respond back. And it was like I took a dagger and just stabbed it in my heart. And my grieving process has started all over again. You get me? Have you ever done that? And then it's like I have to go through, like right now, the stage of grief that I'm in is hurt. And I'm hurt. I'm so hurt. And the next stage will be, I'm pissed. I'm fixing to tell him off. You don't want to talk to me? Well, guess what? I don't want to talk to you. So the next stage is grief. I've started the grieving process all over again because I set myself up for expectations that we were going to have a normal conversation, and I did nothing but hurt myself. And I tell you all this because so many times we try to fix other people, but we don't fix ourselves, right? We don't fix ourselves. And so it hurt. We hurt ourselves over and over and over again. And part of healing is knowing who you are as a person. And so, you know, I know in my heart, I know what's going on. I know that this person, this drug of choice that they are using has got their brain so foggy. You me tell you what's the worst part about this grieving is, and maybe you've experienced this with someone in your family or your friends, but I'm watching his life. Like, he went from very successful, owning his own business, like financially, just a big house, everything, fancy vacations, great life, to losing his family, losing his business, losing all his finances, losing his family, losing his physical appearance, losing his teeth, losing his hair. And it's the worst thing to sit and watch, because you're like, do you not see what we see? It is terrible. And it's the same thing, like I said, with your, if you're going through a divorce, you're sitting there watching. He lost his family. He's lost, he's losing his kids. He's losing the fact that he sees her kids every, whatever it is. You sit there and watch it and you're like, don't you get it? They don't, because they're caught up in darkness and they don't get it. And no matter what you say, no matter how many text messages you send, you're going to hurt nobody but yourself. So the best thing you can do is stay in your own lane and fix yourself. Fix how you respond to that. Like, I have to sit here and go, why? What caused you to send those text messages? Like, what? Like, you were expecting a normal conversation and you were expecting, like, them to go, I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry that I have kicked you out of my life for the past 6 years. I'm sorry that I accused Snead's Farmhouse in being in a conspiracy. I'm sorry that I have not called you on your birthday for the past 6 years. I'm sorry. Like, that's what you expect. You expect your spouse to go, I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm sorry that I left you and the kids. I'm sorry that I said all these things about you. They were not true. That's what you expect. So before you send the text message or make the phone call or whatever you're thinking you're going to do, you need to look yourself in the mirror and go, what are you expecting in return? What, by you calling or you sending this text message, what are you expecting in return? And if the answer is an apology, or if the answer is like the person that I married, or the person that they used to be, you're in trouble. You're in some serious trouble if you expect that, because you're going to start the grieving process all over again. And it's the hardest thing to do, is to keep grieving the same process over and over and over again. You're going to have to get over yourself and go, it is what it is. I got to do the best I can do without them. Because if you keep going back, you're going to keep grieving all over again, which is what I keep doing. I keep doing it over and over. And I'm like, Judy, you know better than this, Judy. You've had enough counseling under your belt to know that you're setting yourself up for some serious letdowns. Some serious, serious letdowns. So this whole week, I have I sent the text messages. I don't know. I think I sent them Monday and yesterday. I don't know, something like that. Maybe it was this weekend. And here I go. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get over this one, but I'm like, okay, Judy, here you go. Locking your seatbelt. Here goes the grieving process. So right now you're hurt, and then you're going to be pissed, and you're going to come to acceptance again. But it's hard when it's a family member, when it's your spouse, or when it's your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. Like when it's a family member, like these things shouldn't be happening, right? Like this is not what you expected. And it's it's difficult. It's so difficult, but you're doing it to yourself. I'm doing it to myself. What do I not have on? I am so doing it to myself because I know better. Where is my Oh, it's in my lap. So y'all are gonna crack up, me and my makeup stuff. I forgot that I had this, and I think it's called Rose Gold, but it's a little highlighter. And yesterday, I was like, I haven't tried this in a while, and I thought, oh, it gave me a little lift, so I'm gonna try that again. So I think you put it right here. So, if some makeup artist watched me do my makeup, they would be in the floor laughing. You know it? Okay, I'm going to switch the subject, and I want to know what y'all thought of Andale Homestead in my live yesterday. Were y'all able to join? I just love her. And this morning, I decided to watch it again. So I watched the replay of it. And I saw me get emotional talking about y'all. I got really emotional. Blush and mascara. I love you, Diane. Oh, Andale's on here. I went back and watched it again, and I was like, I got emotional again talking about y'all. And I'm gonna tell you what you mean to me, and I'm gonna try not to cry talking about it. But before Snead's Farmhouse, let's see, how do I put this? I have talked about like me as a child. My sinuses are draining like crazy. Ugh. Me as a child, I had very strong emotions. Still do. So as a child, like when my parents divorced, I cried a lot. My brothers didn't, but I cried a lot. And then when I got into my high school years, I found myself attaching to this boyfriend that I had. And it's almost like he saved the day. And so I consumed myself with this boy. And then when he broke up with me is when I was just crushed. And it was like all the feelings of like my childhood being sad, it came all back to me. And I told you guys that my senior year in high school, I really struggled with depression and just I started gaining a lot of weight because I was overeating a lot. And then I told you guys I was a Valorette, which was a high stepper in school, and we went to competition, and I couldn't fit in my competition outfit to perform. And how devastating that was. And I got really depressed, and I ended up in the hospital my senior year. I graduated in the hospital from depression. It was really, really a bad time in my life. And so I cracked up because in my interview with Andale, she said, this is your second marriage. And I thought, she hadn't been watching me very long. Because I have been married. Are y'all ready for this? Not one, not two, not three, but I have been married 4 times. I have had 3 failed marriages. And a lot of it, I could sit here and tell you horror stories about every one of them. Um, it wasn't all their fault. A lot of it was my fault. It helps to turn your curling iron on. If you want to curl your hair, you need to make sure that you turn your curling iron on. I don't have mascara on. Yes, I have been married. Shane is my 4th marriage. The first time I got married, I was married for 11 months, and my husband died of a drug overdose. The second time I got married was my kid's father. I was married for 6 years, and it was nothing but a total train wreck. It was a train wreck from the time, but I wanted to, it was important for me to have kids. I had endometriosis. I was told that I was going to have trouble having kids because the endometriosis was in my fallopian tubes and on my ovaries and everything. And I wanted to have kids, and by God, I got married to him. I thought his parents had been married forever. They went to church every single Sunday. I thought this was going to be the perfect marriage for me. We were going to have a good life. He was brought up in church, and I thought it was going to be this beautiful marriage, and it was a total train wreck. He was irresponsible. I was irresponsible. We were young, dumb, stupid, both of us. I'm not blaming it all on him, although 99% of the problem was him. Just 1% was me. Then I remarried again, and I was married for 16 years, and I loved him. But I was a terrible wife. That's when I was caught up in my eating disorder. God love him. Who's calling me? Oh, hang on just a second. Hello? Yes. Yes. You should have 3 windshields for me. Okay, I'll see you then. Bye. Shane and I had 3 broken windshields. Have y'all priced a windshield lately? They're $300 for a windshield. So, and we have 3 cars that have broken windshields. So they're coming to fix them. So I'm sorry I had to answer that. Anyway, I was married for 16 years, and I loved him, but I was such mentally a train wreck. I just he did a lot of crap. I feel like the marriage was more my fault than his, to be honest. And then I married Shane, and I feel like this is the first time that I've had my crap straight, honestly. And so I'm not blaming anything on anybody, because at the end of the day, I'm responsible for what I did wrong. And so, what is my point that I'm making? So, I laughed when she said, "This is your second marriage." I was like, "Oh Lord, she has no idea." Me and her need to sit down and have some conversations. We need to have some conversations. So, when it comes to divorce and stuff like that, I have a lot of regrets that I did as a young child that I can't fix. But at the end of the day, I feel like that maybe I've been through all that simply to tell my story to help other people, because I talk about, like in the mornings when I talk about real life stuff, like it has nothing to do with, like, what we're talking about right now has nothing to do with the farm, right? And I feel like God's put me in front of a big audience to tell my story, because I feel like a lot of people that follow me can relate to me because we all have some kind of crap. Maybe today's conversation, maybe you don't have addiction in your family, maybe you don't have a divorce in your family, but maybe there's something that you can relate to where you keep setting yourself up for failure, because we have a tendency to do that a lot. And although we can't go back and fix what we've done in the past, right? We can't, but we sure can make a difference in the future. And Andel talked about this too, about, how like we can wake up sad and we can't, like, we can, I'm trying to think how she said it. Um, we as human beings, like, sometimes we feel all alone and we think that we're in this and like other people don't understand, like nobody understands. I have this addiction in my family, or they don't understand. I've been married 4 times. Me too, girl. We got the 4, like, we wear the badge, like, no, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not, like, if you're going through a divorce right now, you're not alone. There's plenty of other people that have been through divorce, but like, we can't go back. We can't fix that. I can't fix the person that I'm talking about. I can't fix them. No matter what I try to do, no matter what I say, it is a dead end. All I can do is fix the way I respond to that. You can't go back and fix the mistakes you've made in a marriage or in being a parent. Like, I sit here and think about, I probably totally jacked my kids up. Like, I sit here and talk about how my parents' divorce affected me so badly, and it made me feel like, fear of, oh Lord, I'm burning my hair. I can't get it out. It made me feel like being scared of being homeless. Well, what did I do to my kids? Are they going to sit here one day and go, well, my mother was married 4 times and was a total train wreck, total train wreck. Your grandmother, let me just tell you what she did. She left my father and blah, 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 blah. And here we are today. It affects everything that you do, affects other people. And so, like, but at the end of the day, we can't beat ourselves up for what we did in our past. But we can use that. That's what Andel talked about. But we can change what's happening now. And although I can't go back and fix the 3 failed marriages that I had, all I can do is fix myself and be different with me and Shane. And Shane and I have been a terrible example to our children on what a marriage should look like. Shane's had a lot of crap in his life too. Okay. Just like y'all have. Okay. Shane and I have been a terrible example of what a marriage should look like. Terrible. And I think it came from, we didn't have an example as a child to know what a marriage looks like. We both had divorce in our families, so we don't know what it's like to stick together through thick and thin. Like, we didn't have that example for us as well. Like, you just get out, like, just get a divorce. And nowadays things are so different from when we were children. Like I told you, like my kids' generation, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I don't understand them at all. I don't understand them at all. They don't date, get married, move in, have kids. They're like, they move in, buy a house, then get married, then have kids. And I'm like, do I need to sit down and talk to them? And then I'm like, this was a slap in the face. One of my kids, it was my youngest kid. He was in a relationship and I was giving him advice. He goes, hey, mother, do you think I'm going to take advice from you when you've been married 4 times? I went, oh yeah, don't take advice from me. Go to someone else. Don't take advice from me. And we laughed. I mean, he was kidding with me, but we laughed about it. So now, like, every time they have some type of relationship issue, like me with my son, because I don't understand. Like, my stepson, And my son did things I could call them backwards. They they moved in with someone before they got married, and well, what am I supposed to be like you and be divorced 4 times? And I thought, well, shoot, they do have a point. Like, you know what I mean? Like they could be like me. At least they're not. So you know what I'm saying. So it's like hard for us to understand the generations behind us because they do things totally different from the way we did them. But if we were having conversations like with my grandmother right now, she would tell you that I did things totally different than the way she did them. I mean, you think about our grandparents, okay? Our grandparents were getting married at 16 years old. Like, let's see, I might be wrong. If my aunt's on here, maybe she'll tell me. But my dad's parents got married at 14 and 15 years old. Can you imagine? Can you imagine for just a second? And the crazy thing is, they stayed married. Okay, if a 14 and 15-year-old got married in today's world, do you think they would stay married for 60 years? No, no, no. But back in the day, that's what they did, And I'm assuming that my great grandparents had a sign for them to get married. Have y'all did your grandparents like that, or your great grandparents got married at a very young age? Like, it's crazy to sit and can you imagine your 15-year-old daughter coming up to you going, "Hey, I want to get married," and she's in high school, and you're like, "Okay, well, let me sign you, let me sign you away to get married at 15 years old." And see, like, my generation don't understand that. My generation is like, my parents would have never let me get married at 15 years old. Never. And you wonder why the past generations that was accepted. And like this generation is like my kids' generation is totally different. And my grandkids' situation will be totally different too. It's like, what time is it? Oh my gosh. It's been long-winded. And I laughed. Andell said her lives were 30 minutes. I'm like, oh Lord, I couldn't get my conversation in 30 minutes. I'm just getting my first curl at 30 minutes. Yeah, when she said that it was gonna be 30 minutes long, I thought, oh my gosh, are you serious? I only talked for 30 minutes? Like I wouldn't even know how to act doing doing that. Today, okay, so this morning I'm getting my windshields done. And then the group home that comes on Wednesdays is coming. So they're coming this morning. And then today is my day to take my dad. If y'all don't know, if y'all are just joining me, my stepdad pretty much, I guess you can say, lives with me. It's been a whole ordeal. But for the past 5 years, he's basically been my responsibility. And he is fighting the cancer scare. And today, he's not going for that. He has a place on his hand right here, and it is probably the size of 3 or 4 quarters. It's huge, and it's cancer. And he has a place right here on his elbow. And so we're going to the dermatologist today. He's going to have to probably have surgery, but the doctor, his regular doctor, worried about them because when they do the surgery to cut it out, they're going to have to do that. They were afraid he wasn't going to be able to use his hand. So I don't know what they're going to do today. I don't think they'll do surgery today or radiation or anything. I think it's more of an evaluation. I'm not really sure what they're doing today, but I'm assuming he's going to get evaluated for the next step on what we're going to do. But it's pretty bad. It cracks open and it oozes. It's just terrible. It looks terrible. But he's going for that today, and I've got to drive. His doctor is an hour away from here, so we have to be there at 1:00 today. So I've got to do that today, and then I don't know what he's going to look like. I don't know if he's going to need help. I'm thinking he's not going to be able to use that hand at all, but I'm not really sure. So I'm dealing with that today. And then a lot of people have been asking about his procedure. He's having his biopsy in September, September the 20th. So he'll have his biopsy to see if the cancer is aggressive or if it's just a passive. They said if it's passive, they may not even do surgery. They might just do chemo and radiation. But if it's an aggressive surgery, he'll have to have. I haven't put on my mascara. Take it. Take it. This is a new mascara. I forgot who it's made by. I'll tell you if I like it. Hang on, let's see. Too Faced. Oh, Lord. You know what they named this mascara? Better Than Sex. I mean, really? They had to come up with, could they not come up with a better name than that? Oh, my gosh. I didn't even notice it said that. See, I noticed it because it was a pretty package. I like this teal green. I have to wear waterproof. When I do this, it's like a faucet running down my throat. I feel like I'm going to choke. Oh, I didn't say that about my ENT. They did this procedure. Did I say it? I don't know. I can't remember. The tubes I don't think it's called a tube. Mine is not draining every time I swallow. I have some type of dysfunction that's not allowing my ears to drain. And usually they try the Singulair and all that. And then if that doesn't work, then I'll have to have tubes in my ears. But I kind of feel like it's working. I mean, it's only been 2 days though, so I don't know. Duluth has a new pair of overalls. They're like this orange color. Looks good with people that have red hair. So Jane, go out and order you some overalls. Jane's my redheaded twin sister. She messages me every day. She's so sweet. There, in my garage is those peachicks, baby peacocks, peahens, whatever they are. And they coo. They coo, and they're cooing like crazy right now. I don't know why. The windshield man's supposed to be here at 8:30. Well, he better get out there and help me do some chickens because I don't have time. She, I'll tell you that real quick. Hanging in there. No signs of labor. She has not made a nest. I've given her sticks and hay and all this stuff to make her life easy. And I'm choking. She has not made her nest. So I don't guess we're anywhere close. So I've kind of just given up. Maybe she ain't pregnant. No, she's pregnant. But I just try not to think about it because I'm so excited about piglets. I can't stand it. I have this company that sent me some boots to advertise, to try them and to advertise. And they're like these bright yellow boots. So they're so me. Oh my gosh, they're so me because they're so extra. And that's my plan, is to do my photo shoot with my piglets with my boots on to advertise for them. So like, I'm super excited for the piglets to come here. They sent me an email this morning. They're like, are you going to do your photo shoot? I said, I'm waiting on piglets. I'm going to let my piglets get here. And then I'm going to do my photo shoot with my, I'm going to tell you something. I said this before, but if Shishi is ugly and, if Shishi is ugly and does not let me touch those piglets, I'm going to be so mad at her. I've had multiple conversations with her. Yesterday, I laid down in the barn with her and I said, look, Chickie Mama, don't you be having these piglets in this barn. You need to march your butt on up to the pig house where I put those sticks and you were to have your piglets in there so I could shut you in there so those boys won't be around you and bug you. So you go over there to have your babies. And let me just tell you something, if you're a mean mama, you get a spanking, and I'm going to send you to the principal when your kids are grown, because you better let me lay in that house with you with those piglets. Now, I don't know if she's listening to me or not, but I'm going to tell you, she's going to be in some serious trouble if she cocks an attitude when those piglets are born. Now, I will tell you that the vet told me when Dee Dee, my cow, had her baby, he's like, she's, and she has horns. He was like, Judy, you're going to have to be really careful. She could be very mean. And then they told me that with Georgia Lee. Georgia Lee and Dee Dee were just like, let me get all over the babies. So, like, in my head, I'm setting myself up for expectations that she's going to be just like Dee Dee and Georgia Lee. So I might be getting myself in trouble with setting myself up for expectations, but I want to lay in the bed with them. I want to get in the pig house. So I've been doing it every day. I'm like, every time she's in the pig house, I'm like, Mama coming in. So I get in there and lay in the pig house with her and have conversations with her, because I want her to get used to me doing that and like her being okay with it. And so I'm like, you listen, Piggy. Listen here, Miss Piggy. You better let me love on those babies, because if you don't, I'm going to be so mad at you. You better not cock no mean piggy attitude, or you're getting a spanking. So hopefully she won't. Okay, I have literally 15 minutes to go let the chickens out and let the animals out, and then go get the windshield fixed, and then the group home to come, and then to take my dad to the doctor. And you know how I told you guys that, okay, I'm going to go live on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, and I'm going to do a video on Tuesday, Thursday, and on Sundays. And I'm like, okay, Judy, those followers are loyal to you. You have got to not let them down. Like, I am putting so much pressure on myself. So today I'm going to be gone all day because I have to take my dad to the doctor. And I'm like, oh my God, when am I going to video? I promised them that I put a video out on Thursday. And then I thought, even though me taking my dad has nothing to do with the farm, y'all need to see what I do. Like, y'all need to see, like, why sometimes I feel like I need a daggum crown on my head, because like I juggle a lot. I don't just juggle having a farm. You heard my story about my family member this morning. So like on top of having a farm, I have this crap. I have my dad. Like there's a lot. I juggle just like y'all. I might put out cute pictures of me and the pigs. I'm like, and I look like I had this great life and everything is just perfect and wonderful. But you know me because you watch my lives. My life is a total train wreck, just like yours. So when you see cute pictures and you're like, oh, she has no, I don't have the perfect life. I'm no different from y'all. I'm no different from y'all. And this story that I'm telling is not just about me. It's about us. We're friends. Like, I want you to know that I am your friend and you're not alone. And if you think because you're on the couch and can't get up and go to the grocery store that you're all alone and no one loves you, you're wrong. That's what you're telling yourself. I want you to know that you have an aunt in Alabama that's here with you, and that I'm here to encourage you to be the very best that you can. And you can be the very best that you can sitting on the couch, because you know what? Making a difference in someone's life isn't something that you do. Like, you don't have to have the finances to do it. You don't have to have your legs to do it. You can pick up the phone and just make a difference. Like the windshield guy that's coming here, or I don't know if it may be a woman, I can be friendly and tell him how much I appreciate them. And that's an act of kindness. So there's something you can do, even if you don't have your legs to do it or the financial means to do it. There's ways that you can make differences in people's life just by opening up your mouth, or just by smiling, telling someone they look good, telling someone that There's things that you can do, okay? Pick up the phone, make a phone call. So today, when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, you have those choices. You can sit it out. And if you're sitting it out, set your timer for 10 minutes and go, okay, go. Siri, set a timer for 10 minutes for me to cry.
10-minute cry timer, counting down.
My life sucks. My life's a train wreck. Oh my God. I can't do it anymore. Like, lay on the floor, cry, tell yourself you're a train wreck. Tell yourself your kids suck, your mom sucks, like everyone's mean, you're fat, you're ugly, like everything is a train wreck. I wish I could work. I can't. I'm on disability. I'm on a limited income. I'm broke. Oh my gosh. Allow yourself total chaos for 10 minutes. Okay. And then here in 9 minutes and 17 seconds, she's going to tell you it's over. Okay. In 9 minutes and 17 seconds, you're crying and you're whining and you're sitting it out is over. And then you dance. Okay. Allow yourself to have a little bit of grief time, because when I sent those text messages, it hurts. It hurts not to get a response. It hurts for people to think that you stole from them or whatever they think. You're in a conspiracy to get them and all this crap. Addiction is a sad disease, it's sad. And allow yourself this little bit of time to grieve because it hurts. If you're going through a divorce, it hurts. Allow yourself 10 minutes to grieve, 10 minutes a day. Okay, today I'm going to cry because my wife left me and I don't get to see my kids every day. I'm going to allow 10 minutes to just cry. And then I'm going to get myself up and I'm going to get myself together because my kids need me. They don't need me to be bashing their mom. They need me to be happy and stable. And the best way I can do that is to fix me. I can't fix her, but I can fix myself. I can fix the things that I did wrong in the marriage because you aren't perfect. There's things that you did. You can fix you, but you can't fix them. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you next time.